Yo, what's up? Welcome to my new Niki Istrefi tutorial where we will take care of the main lead sound from the Red Armor track, a nostalgic sounding like synthesizer with a great melody. What will be good news to many people is that today, instead of the massive synthesizer, we will use the Serum one. What you will learn today? I will show you how to program a simple patch in which we will use two tricks, the frequency modulation and the Serum's resampling functionality. Later, I will show you a great saturation plugin, the Helm IVGI2. On top of this saturation, we will add some delay to create an atmosphere as with our first Klangkünstler tutorial, and we will use lots of unusual equalization again. My name is Marcin, I put out sound design tutorials every second Sunday, so if you don't want to miss such videos, then subscribe to my channel. And if my YouTube channel is not enough for you, contact me for private music production lessons, which will give you a whole lot of new knowledge. Now, let's get to work. As usual, we will start with creating a new MIDI track where I will put the Serum synthesizer. I will create now a MIDI clip, which I will drag onto the arrangement tab. I will draw the beginning part of the melody. We will use the A sharp and D notes. In the same manner, we will have to draw the rest of this melody. I have already prepared this melody before. Let's open the Serum and start recreating the synthesizer. And the oscillator A, we will use something very simple. We will pick first the basic shapes wavetable, and instead of the sine wave, we will pick a triangle wave. We would like to increase the unison control to 2, which will give us 2 triangle waves instead of a single one. Now I will use the detune knob to change the pitch of every of these 2 triangle waves, which will create a subtle and interesting modulation. We would like to detune this sound a bit more. The original synth is really detuned, so we will try to mimic this behavior by using the first LFO on the pitch control, on the chorus control, and the oscillator A. There are a few problems with this modulation. For example, the pitch is reaching both negative and positive values. We would like to change this, and we will hit just the type control, which will change the direction of the modulation. Also, this modulation has to be more subtle. I will change the modulation range from 90 to 1. Now notice that this modulation is not happening with each note in the MIDI clip. You can set the mode to envelope or to trigger to fix this. The only difference between the envelope and the trigger modulation mode is that the trigger mode will repeat the modulation itself. Now I would like to introduce some noise. We will head to the noise oscillator and we will turn it on. Let's see how it sounds like. We have a nice noise selected, AC hum 1, which we will not change. I will increase the volume of this noise temporarily, and now I will adjust the pitch control. Let's now lower this level control to mix this noise with our triangle wave. Now we will use the first trick from our sleeve, and this trick will be using the frequency modulation where the source is the noise oscillator. This will allow us to mix this noise into the triangle wave, which will make the triangle wave sound more distorted. After using the FM modulation, I will take care of the first envelope. We would like to make this synthesizer sound more like a plug. By dragging this point, I will set both the decay and sustain values. Now it's time for the second trick. We will resample the sound of this oscillator to the oscillator B. So let's hit the menu control, and here from the menu list we will pick resample to oscillator B. This will give us a entirely new wavetable in the oscillator B. Let's return to the oscillator A for a while and increase the pitch to +1 octave. Now we will change the warping mode in this oscillator A. Instead of the frequency modulation, we will use the bend minus. Let's add the noise oscillator back, which will give us that small layer of noise. And let's tackle the oscillator B now. We will set it in a similar way as the oscillator A. At first I will increase the unison control to 2, and we will also detune both voices from the oscillator B. And now we should use some warping as well. We will use again the frequency modulation where the FM source is the noise oscillator. Let's add the oscillator A back. We want to adjust the volume levels of all these 3 oscillators. To fine-tune the sound of this synthesizer, you want to take care of the wavetable position in the oscillator B. You also can change the pitch of this oscillator B. And this is the preset we have ended up with. I will show you now how does the finished preset should sound like. It's time to use some distortion now. If you like this video so far, please hit the thumbs up button, as it helps me getting with this video to more people who would like to learn music production as you are doing this now. And as I told you, I will use now the Klanghelm IVGI2, which is, I believe, a tape saturation plugin which gives you a very characteristic sound. The most important controls here is the drive control, which adds the amount of distortion. Now I will fine-tune this distortion with both relaxed switch and the asymmetrical mix. In case the synthesizer is a bit too wide for your ears, we can use the utility after this Klanghorn saturation. And in the utility I will use the width control to make this synthesizer sound a bit more narrow. We want to throw some delay. I will use today the Isotope Dynamic Delay plugin. Definitely I would like to change the delay time to create a right rhythm. An interesting control in this plugin is the trash control. If we use lots of this setting, we will distort the delay signal. You might want to use the wet control in the end to mix this delay with the dry synthesizer. After setting up the delay, I believe it's time for the equalization. We will often cut the mid frequencies from the sound. We will use lots of high pass and low pass filters. So let's start with the high pass filter. In the same way, I will set up the low pass filter now. The last thing is a bell filter, which will cut some frequencies from the mid-range. Let's use some extra saturation. For this, I will reach out to the drive and color section in Ableton, and I will pick the drum bus device. Here we would like to set up the drive control, and along with this control we will also set the saturation type. Another control which we will adjust is the damp control, which can help you roll off again some high frequencies. At last, use the dry wet control to blend this effect with the dry signal. the drum pass, I will use the Audio Assault Head Crusher plugin. Let's crank a bit the drive control, which will drive our signal. Now I will use the low cut, tone and high cut controls as an equalizer device. I will use another equalizer. We will do a similar operation of cutting the high frequencies with the low pass filter. Then we will cut some, resonating frequencies from around 500 Hz region. In the end, we might want to boost up a bit some low mid frequencies. I will pull out another equalizer and I will use some bell filters and low pass and high pass filters again. I will use again the Klanghelm IVGI2 distortion plugin. We will use the last equalizer now. This is very important. Did you notice how the sound got very muffled when I have boosted this much of 300 Hz frequency? In the end, a low-pass filter with low slope, so the high-frequency roll-off sounds natural. If you want to play around more with this sound, you may play around with volume automation. Let's bring the utility for the last time, where we will automate the on and off switch. I will set the gain to, 3 decibels, and we will turn on and off this utility whenever we have a higher note playing in the melody. This is what I have finished with long time ago, and this is the sound, the final sound of the synthesizer. This was the recreation of the Red Armor lead from Niki Istrefi's track. If you liked this video, again, please hit the thumbs up button and share this video to your friends. In the next 2 weeks probably we will be coming back to the Klankenschmelz track. We will work on the bass line, I guess. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching and see you next time.